One of my first big videos that hit over 1,000 views was my Portal Forbidden testing tracks, and why you should play it. Unsurprisingly, there was a bit of argumentation in the comment section. But whether you agreed with my opinion or not, you all seemed to like it being a Portal video. So, for reaching 400 subscribers, I let you guys vote on which Portal game you'd like me to check out next. I let you guys pick from Portal Revolution, Portal Reloaded, and Portal Stories Mel. To my surprise, you guys voted for Portal Reloaded. I genuinely thought you guys would pick Revolution, which came out pretty recently, or Portal Stories Mel, as I've heard it has a great story. But Reloaded won fair and square. And last message before I get to the game, make sure to watch out for future community polls for future videos. Last chance for spoilers. Play the game now if you don't want any, but of course you don't care. Now, let's get on to Portal Reloaded. Portal Reloaded is a fan-made Portal 2 mod by creator Janus going under Portanus on Steam. It came out on April 19th, 2021. It's a pretty incredible fanfare, but I want to touch on that a bit later. The game's big claim to fame is its special new mechanic, which I'll also touch on later. It has 25 new levels for its campaign and additional 20 for its newly made co-op missions. I won't really be covering the co-op missions, and anything I say about it will be purely based on watching another playthrough. Both a walkthrough of the main campaign and its co-op will be in the description, and they're made by the developer, so very kind of them. Now, to start with the game. You open with a cutscene that explains you are test subject 4509, who's been in stasis for 16 days, and 4 decades. You can see the walls lined with stasis pods, similar to the one you're in, full of humans in stasis. The AI voice explains that you are chosen to complete a specific testing track. This track also might lead to
of sore throat, or blurry vision, or death.
But during this, you can also see another test subject pod being ushered in front of you, and veering to the right. Then, you get dropped into the tube to get your first test chamber. In the first chamber, you're simply presented with a door. The goal is to get beyond the door. It unlocks in 20 years, so you need to wait 20 you can just do that. So here is where I'll explain the main gimmick of the game. You don't get 2 portals, you have 3. The blue and orange ones link up like usual, but you have a third green portal that works as a time jump. How it works is that this green door works as a passage to the room you were in, but 20 years into the future. The green portal can only be put into spots where there is a panel in the same position and condition in both timelines. There's also a lot of physics and nuance that I'm too dumb to explain, but there will be some other things in the future that I will mention. That's all you need to know for now. Also, instead of elevators or tubes that move you from chamber to chamber, you will use catwalks and dematerializers to get around. The second test is where I mention another one of the green portal's features. It can kind of clone stuff. This puzzle requires you to get a cube from the future to the present to open a door. In the present, there's a companion cube. There's one in the future as well. Now you can go into the future and move the cube there as much as you like. You can even bring it back to the present. What you cannot do is bring the present cube to the future, because it violates laws of causality or some other dumb physics mumbo jumbo. So basically, you move the cube in the present, then in the future the cube will be in the spot where you left it. But the future cube has pretty much no effect on the present cube. And if you move the present cube, the future cube will automatically reset to that future position. Confusing? This is Chamber 2. Anyway, getting past that puzzle, we move on to Chamber 3, which is a similar chamber. Bring the future cube to the present to press both buttons. In Chamber 4, we use the cube technique a little more interestingly. We need to get a future cube onto the button and get on the platform. When you're on, you move the present cube, making the future cube disappear so you can raise the platform. Chamber 5 is more of the same shtick. In Chamber 6, you get the holy crap, that looks sick! Oh, yeah, right. It's called the triple portal device, and this is what you use to place all 3 portals. But they don't trust us yet, so we can't throw time portals wherever we want yet. After a simple puzzle using all 3 portals in a basic way, we get to Chamber 7, which is where the difficulty starts to rear its head. I should probably say it now, I used the official walkthrough a lot. I know this mod is recommended for veteran players, and I have to consider I am not that. I'm not too smart and I'm not the best at puzzles, but damn, these were confusing. Back to the puzzle. Now is a good time to mention that the portals work like companion cubes with how time affects them. This puzzle requires dipping in and out of time portals a lot. You need to constantly use present and past portals to cross the room to eventually get to the door. I'll also be skipping the explanations for a lot of the less complex or just less notable chambers. All of them are great and definitely challenging, but the solution just isn't always that interesting, especially just explaining it. Chamber 8 is pretty much the reason I say that. It's a relatively simple momentum chamber, and it's a little tricky considering the time portal area. The area before Chamber 9 shows you how to set up the green portals by showing the default as mouse button 3, or pressing the scroll wheel. Going into Chamber 9, it's another pretty simple momentum puzzle, while getting a cube to the end with you. Chamber 10 is a little harder. In this one, you need to get up to the middle area and then jump through a time portal for momentum to the other side. Doing this, you can get the future cube to bring back and press a button for you. Then you can use a pop-out board to get more momentum to get to the door. Then you have to use your portals to move the present cube to teleport the future cube off the button. Yeah, a mouthful. Chamber 11 is annoying. I'm skipping it. Just kidding. But seriously, this was one of the most annoying ones. It's probably one of the simplest ones, too. Okay, let me explain. You need to press all 3 buttons in the room in order to open the doors. But all the buttons are timed. The longest timer is 1, shortest is 3. So, you have to press them in order. But the first and second buttons are locked behind glass walls. So, you need to go to the future and set up portals into the rooms and use the time portals to jump from future to present to press them. This requires so much quick timing, and it annoyed me. There was probably a good 3 runs I did where I got like half a second within the time limit, and then it stopped. But that's it. It was hard, but it was a good time challenge. I will say that. Now for Chamber 12. In this one, you need to use well-timed time portals to get the cube across the right timeline the right way. Now for Chamber 13, this is where we get a new element. Lasers. Now, the lasers are one of a few different test objects that only work in one timeline and not another. Most, if not all, lasers work in the present, but not in the future. For this one, just manipulate the lasers using the time portal into the future. With finishing the test, we actually get a little lore tidbit on how we can hear the announcer through both timelines. Apparently, it's because...
Great! By now, you might be wondering how it is possible to hear these automated messages, regardless of which timeline you're in. We implanted a small device directly into your brain. That way, you can hear these messages as if they were the voice of your own conscience. Well, they practically are, considering how much of your cerebral cortex we had to remove to make this work.
Aw, how nice of them. Wait, what does the cerebral cortex do again? Oh, shit. Well, I'm sure it's no problem here. In Chamber 14, we need to use laser manipulating cubes to angle the lasers through multiple different laser traffic cone things. In Chamber 15, we get a secluded room with a laser that you need to do some timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly placement to get all the lasers to multiply and go into the right directions. I may not understand it, but the walkthrough works. Don't question it. Chamber 16 is relatively easy, just needing to use time portals for extra momentum. You get the jump pads in this one, so yeah, they're introduced. Chamber 17. This one is downstairs, but the elevator isn't working, so you need to walk down this hallway. Never mind. Let's take the hard way down. You need to walk through some more backstage areas while your AI companion explains that maybe this all isn't part of the test.
You might have noticed that something is not quite right here. Remember when we told you that the decay of the facility was completely intentional? Turns out, that was a lie. There is a bigger picture here. Your test might be the most important one ever conducted. For now, let's just try to get back on track and keep going.
Then we can make our way into the actual chamber. I don't know if this is supposed to be a feature, but it's shown in the walkthrough as the solution, so I guess it is. You cannot place time portals in this chamber. You can only place them in the little box with the green plasma looking screen. This makes it so you can put the time portal in there, But if you just put a portal outside and inside the box, then you can portal out of it and just use the time portal anywhere now. It's a little weird. This one is just another pretty simple momentum puzzle using time to gain extra speed. If you happen to figure the ones out before, you got this one. Finishing it, you can go to the next chamber by jump pad. You actually go through another chamber by doing this, and it all looks really cool. Next up is chamber 18. I want to let you know, out of 25 chambers, 18 to 25, which is 7 chambers, takes up roughly 30 minutes of the 50-minute playthrough. Just to let you know what types of puzzles these will be. In this chamber, you need to start by going back to the present. Oh, come on, I had to make at least one. But you need to do that to get 2 of the laser manipulation cubes ready. You can use your portals to get momentum from the jump pads to get onto little ledges that have lasers that you can angle to one specific wall in the middle. Using a mixture of your time and regular portals, you can get up to the top. Using a mixture of your time and regular portals, you can get up to the top one and have them angle through the other side, hitting the laser checkers you need to progress. This next chamber really pissed me off. This chamber is BS. This chamber is chamber number 19. Now, in theory, this is actually a relatively simple chamber, and it is. It only takes the developer about 3 minutes to finish this one in the walkthrough. You want to know why my attempt took close to 30 minutes? This stupid cube. I don't know why, but this game decided to cease functioning in this specific chamber. Let me explain how it works first. This is the chamber introducing the light bridges. You use the bridge to get a cube that's in a glass area, then you can use the portals to go higher where there is a button. Using your time portal, you can find a way to get the companion cube in the big center box. Putting the cube in that big box shuts down the force field so you can get other items through. Then, you can use the portals to bring in the other box and finish the puzzle roll credits next chamber. Now, I don't know why I couldn't get this to happen, but for a good 15 minutes I was struggling to understand what I was doing wrong. Then, I realized my game had a bug. Remember how I said earlier that when you place a cube in the present, it then appears in a similar spot in the future? Well, my game wasn't doing that. Where there should be a cube in the future, there wasn't one. Okay, simple fix. Exit the level, reload in, problem solved. Except it wasn't. Every time I reloaded, it refused to work. I even resorted to trying to use NoClip to get out of the room, which worked, but for some reason NoClip refused to turn off, so I couldn't do the rest of the levels. Only cool part was that I got to find this little hidden room that looks like it's supposed to have a hidden portal. I couldn't activate it though, so I don't know what it does. Not even cheats were fixing the problem. So I closed the game and reopened it, and it still didn't work. I had to reset my computer just so I could fix this weird, stupid bug. I don't know why my computer decided to do this, but whatever, on with the game. While walking out of the chamber, you can actually get a unique moment with the AI voice. It will say within 3 seconds, you will jump. If you do within the 3 seconds, it plays a voice clip talking about how everything in the world is predetermined and the future can't really be changed. If you don't jump, it says the opposite. Going to chamber 20, it's pretty big and a little daunting. In this one, you need to mess with the light bridge, so it goes down and to the side so you can catch a cube to use. Then you need to balance the box on a light bridge to time a button press so you can go up another little lift. You also need to use the lasers a little bit, but it's not too bad. Chamber 21 is the introduction of turrets into the puzzles, and pretty much their only use. You need to portal the light bridge to use it as a wall against turrets. You need to then press a button to get a box. Then you need to use the time portal to double the bridges into a double wall for a double row of turrets. With all the doubling, it sounds like a McDonald's order. Then you need to go looping around time and portals to get the light bridge to go to the door, and then to get on the bridge yourself. I'm not smart enough to even comprehend the colors anymore. That Cortex thingy doesn't deal with sight too, does it? After that, you're on a catwalk. You need to bounce some turrets off to propel yourself to chamber numero 22. This one requires you to time a bunch of cube jumps to land in funnels. It's literally a carny game with higher stakes. Let's move on. Chamber 23 is where we start using a really annoying feature. These stupid helix levitation thingies, or the aperture science excursion funnels, as the AI calls them. You'll also be introduced to these dumb grate things. What they are is panels that you can portal on, but they're protected by a grate, so you can't teleport an object like a cube or yourself through them. Only portals and things can go through the grates, like the helix bridge things. But using the blue one next to you, you can float up and then portal one to the side wall to get a button that gives you a cube. Doing the reverse of that, you can put the cube on the pressure pad to change the typing of the helix bridge. Then using your time portal, you can go back to the future, where you can take the cube and turn them back to blue. Then you can mesh the timelines to use them to float the cube and finishing the test. Cool thing I noticed, not sure if it's a bug or intended, but if you put the portals in just the right way, the helix things mix up and turn white. It's actually kind of cool. Going into Chamber 24, the AI talks about the future of the facility and says that it has reason to believe that the reason the facility looks horrible is because of a rogue test subject. Actually doing Chamber 24 is a different story. This level I can only really describe as an arcade claw machine, and I do not like it. Now the level is cool, but some of the parts are just annoyingly finicky. I'm also dumb. You need to use the helix bridge to move the cube. You also have two buttons you can use. One that changes the type of the helix bridge, and the other turns it off completely. You need to get the cube to the first segment, turn the bridge off so the cube falls on a jump pad. Then you need to catch it with another helix bridge through a portal. Then you need to have it fall onto another portaled helix bridge where you can reverse it into the next room. Then you need to go up so you can land on another button on the very end. That was annoying. Ready for part 2? You then need to portal to the future where you can reverse the future cubes to go through a time portal so that it can land on the present day helix thingy so it can float to the pressure pad above the door. It's a nice puzzle. Just very finicky. Now we're on our final chamber. Chamber 25. This chamber actually looks more daunting than it really is. The main difficulty is actually just timing. So there are 4 laser doors that block the door to end the chamber. Using a button to open the cube dispenser, you can bring it down via the helix bridge. Then you can position it so it will hit a little light cone and laser receiver on the wall. Going to the future, you can bring the laser moving cube and angle it in front of the laser receiver with 1 dot on it. Using your normal portals, you can get the laser through these pretty easily. Then there's the hard part. So for the 3rd door, you need to use a station time portal to get to the future where there's a light bridge you can use. In the present, you need to make the present day cube fly up with the helix bridges so that it will successfully laser into the dot 3 receiver. But you need to time it just right with the future's light bridges so that it stays in place. Then you just have to remove the light bridge and it will float up for the pressure pad on the ceiling. That will unlock the 4th door. Then you need to go to the future and get the cube there to bring back to the present to finish the puzzle. But we're not done just yet. After the puzzle, the AI tells you you need to go into the blue helix in front of you, where it says that you will be taken back to the stasis pods for your true mission. You'll be woken up the day that all the stuff that caused the facility to break down happened, and you will prevent it. Then the AI thanks you for being cooperative, and says that you will change history. Roll credits. But wait, if you ever played the Portal games, that doesn't happen. We never get woken up. We never save the facility. We don't live. We can't just let this happen. We need to think of a way out. Luckily, the future is never certain. Thinking actually pretty slowly, you can put a portal on the panel far in front of you, and then another one to your left to change your direction and move through a different gate. The AI realizes this and says that you aren't just going to get away, and escape is not an allowed option. The AI won't give you up that easily, so it says that it'll just have to destroy your current body to rematerialize you back into stasis. 2 spiked crushers appear and start clamping together, waiting for you so they can ensnare you in the trap. But there is a chance of escape. There's a panel below you, and you can throw a time portal into it to go to the future where you have a chance of reaching the elevator. As you get closer to the elevator, supports in the facility start to crumble, and your AI voice is starting to go static. As the elevator comes up in front of you, all the voice can manage to say is, "Don't," before it disappears into the static. Now we go up. We see the facility we've been trapped in so long whizzing by as we ascend further, the concrete terror we were trapped in. Until we reach the highest chamber levels that are ridden with vines and decay. Then we finally arrive in a small room with a banner above the door, thanking us for our participation. The door opens to the sunset over a beautiful pine forest. Finally, the warmth of the outside gracing our skin. Then we check our portal gun. It's run out of power. And as we look up, we see 3 headcrab zombies stumbling toward us. Cut to credits. And that, my friends, was Portal Reloaded. And it was actually really fun. I remember when this project had gotten popular back a few years ago, and a bunch of people called it Portal 3. This was the first Portal mod I ever saw get a lot of hype surrounding its release. I even remember when creators like Terry101 UK, who usually just does SFM animations, released a playthrough of himself going through the mod. This mod is definitely worth a playthrough though. The time mechanic is so cool and it's used really well. I love how the green portal is utilized and how well it synergizes. I know I had to use the walkthrough for a lot of it, but it was really fun trying to figure out how to do the puzzles, even if I wasn't that good at them. I wouldn't say that any of the puzzles were bad or annoying, they just require timing and skill. The story is great. Even with its minimal presence, I loved it. The damned if you do, damned if you don't ending is also pretty nice, even if it's left ambiguous. One thing you might want me to go over if you watched my Portal Forbidden Testing Tracks video is how my opinion changes upon playing the mod. Unluckily for you, it doesn't. I know this is beating a dead horse, but bear with me for a few minutes. Portal Forbidden Testing Tracks, in my opinion, actually does a few things better than Portal Reloaded doesn't do. Now, this also comes down to personal preference, but Portal Forbidden Testing Tracks was very action-packed. There was strong, fast sections of the game where things got crazy quickly. Portal Reloaded doesn't have that, which is actually perfect too. Portal Reloaded is sort of branded towards Portal vets, those who've mastered the mechanics and whose puzzle-solving skills exceed my own. By a lot. This isn't meant to be a big, grandiose experience. It's supposed to be more challenging to those that loved Portal's mechanics. And it does that perfectly. The co-op mode isn't too bad either. Now, I didn't play it, but I watched the walkthrough. It's shorter than the main campaign, but looks just as good. The goal for it is to get to the end of the testing track and then rescue forgotten facility information. Which, spoilers for the co-op ending, who am I kidding? You don't care. Funny. But yeah, that's mostly it for Portal Reloaded. It's shorter than other mods, but it's still really good. I hope you guys liked it, and since you made it to the end of the video, I'll just talk about a few other ones I want to do. I still want to do Portal Revolution and Portal Stories Mel since they're really cool looking, but another I'd want to do is Portal Desolation. The next Portal video I do will either be Portal Revolution, Portal Stories Mel, or Portal Mod, which got revealed a couple months back. Depending on if it supports a custom map with the mod itself will likely determine if I do, though. It'll probably be a while until the next Portal video, though. I have so many goddamn projects and ideas on my back burner. I've got to start making a list and checking them off. One thing I really want to do is a big video where I go over a bunch of games. Just review all of them and show them off for like an hour-long special video. I don't know. But if that sounds cool, you could recommend some in the comments. I have a ton of itch.io and Game Jolt games I just never got around to recording, and they're just sitting in my files. They clog up a lot of my drive, so it might be a good time to show off a bunch of them. Maybe I'll start doing that with shorter source mods and Payday 2 mods and maps. This is just me bouncing off ideas, though. Let me know if you like any of them. Anyway, I should probably stop myself at some point, so I'll leave you with this. 1. I will be holding another poll for a big video. It will be very likely that it is for a FNAF-themed big video. 2. I will also probably do less short one-game videos and more 2 or 3 game videos where I show off the playthroughs. Kind of like that 2 creepy games video I made quite a while back. And lastly, as always, comments, questions, suggestions, and criticism are always welcome. The game and playthrough links for both the campaign and co-op missions will be in the description. Same with the creator's website and Steam page. And thank you for dealing with me. It's been me, Moosh, and I'll see you later. Arrivederci.